Holy powerful portal, my people. I'm making this video on Friday, November 3rd, about a week after the second of two eclipses, um, towards the end of 2023. So, being who I am, liking the deep diving and the edge walking, I went on ahead and signed myself up for a medicine ceremony in between the two eclipses. And the way the medicine works is that it touches threads moving through life up to and surrounding and after the ceremony itself, and brings awareness to many pieces. So, last week, as I was preparing for this ceremony, actually, the day before, um, a friend came over who had a thorn buried deep in her foot, and I extracted it. It took a little while. It took some um, very tedious and tender digging to excavate this little teeny tiny thorn that was causing her a massive amount of pain in her foot. So that was a thing. And then the day that I was preparing for ceremony, I chose to kind of limit my exposure and not do a bunch of work. But I did decide to catch up on some recordings of some teachings by some brilliant sisters in the mystery. I had a feeling there would be some pieces there for me in my journey. So I listened to a replay of an eclipse class that Virginia Rosenberg did. She is an incredible astrologer, and I'll link her info in the description so you can find her. She's my favorite astrologer. She's also awesome. So, in her class, she shared that the eclipse that we were approaching, which was a full moon in Taurus lunar eclipse, was kind of hard to pin down. It was hidden and it didn't really want to be written about. And she dropped in for a moment in this class and was like, let me just see what else I can get. And she said, I don't know why I want to say this, but it's like almost surgical. I was like, ding, well, I just surgerized my friend's foot. So that makes sense. And it was really hard to find that thorn. Oh my goodness. And she said a bunch of other brilliant things, which I super appreciated. And then I listened to another class given by another sister of the mystery, Akara Sophia. She teaches temple arts and Magdalene mysteries. And she was sharing about the five wounds of love. The five wounds of love, which she called, I think, the shadow of Venus. And these are like inescapable wounds that everyone who chooses to incarnate here as a human kind of gets one way or another. And they are, part of the fabric of this reality and how we learn lessons. And um, the wounds of love are denial, betrayal, judgment, persecution, and abandonment. These five wounds of love. So I was appreciating what she was sharing and just sort of, having my slow day approaching my journey. And then I had, an interesting and amazing time as always. And it was late in the night, like the ceremonial container had been closed technically. However, I was still journeying. And oh, I went into the ceremony with an intention to track down a piece of my digestion. And I have this sort of long-standing weak tendency in my liver. And that shows up different ways, but I've multiple times that's been a place where I've found that I've like allowed other people's energy to connect into my system. And starting with my dad. So that pattern got set up for me early. And I've cleared multiple people and allowed multiple people to connect into that weak point over the years. I'm always like, what is it? What are they doing there? That's my liver. Get them out of here. So I wasn't super tracking that, but I was super tracking that like there is a digestive piece, and the liver is the largest organ of the digestive system, other than the intestines, which is arguable because they cover a large area, but they're hollow, right? The liver is dense. So by weight, the liver is the largest organ of digestion. And, plays a significant role in digestion and assimilation and all the things. And also processing emotions, especially anger. Okay, so I go through my journey. It's deep in the night. I feel like Aya is like, has this funny thing with me where it's like, I'm like, ooh, yay, I want to be with this medicine. But then I was like, are you sure? You should be scared. And I'm like, oh my God, yes, like I'm here. I drank you. Please show me the thing. I want to know. Oh, the way that shows up in my body is like pain or discomfort or, like basically avoidance of being in the body, of being in the pain, right? So there's this like bouncing. I'm like, oh, I want to be in, but So anyway, eventually I finally wrangled myself like deep down into the discomfort that was showing up like in the region of my liver. And for those of you that don't know, the gallbladder and the liver are connected. They're right next to each other and they're connected. And the gallbladder offers a function for the liver. It holds the bile. And the gallbladder also tends to be the house of resentment, which is basically unprocessed emotion, but most often unprocessed anger. So, like, if the liver isn't processing the anger well, then it can just build up as resentment in the gallbladder, which can cause gallbladder trouble down the road and whatever digestive issues that might come along with that. So I'm in that zone, I'm wrangling myself into this zone, and it's like, ow, ow, ow. And I was like holding me down in the mud. And I'm like, but you don't have to hold me down because, like, I'm here willingly. Like, I want to be here. I want to know. Oh, what's the thing? I want to know the thing. And then there's this chip, like an implant in my liver gallbladder. And I want to take it out. But also I need to know why it's there and what's the story, what's the program in the chip. So I keep, deepening and asking. And here's the excavation part. Here's the where it's like, I mean, at one point, as I was like diving in, wrangling myself in, like the image of the thorn coming out of my friend's foot showed itself. And I was like, oh yes, it's surgical. It's hard to find, it's hard to see, and it's surgical. Okay. So I keep, gently and tediously excavating. And this old story came forward from when I was little. So I started kindergarten early. I was 4. My brother was born right around then. And so my dad came to visit. So I did not live with my dad, but he was there for this kind of, crux moment of my life of like starting kindergarten while my mom was having another baby. And Yeah, so he was there, he was around. And I had this memory. This is not a new, like, it's not like I recovered this memory. Like, I've remembered this for a long time, and I've always been really kind of confused about it. I was on the school bus. I think I was 4. Maybe I had just turned 5. I was on the school bus and coming home from school to my multicultural apartment complex where I played with all the kids. Um, and I was playing a game with another little white girl where we were in the back of the bus on the seats that had the wheel wells under. So there was like a hump for your to put your feet on under the seat. And we were like, these are our seats and we're not going to let anybody else sit here, basically. Like, she was on one side of the aisle and I was on the other side of the aisle. And we were like agreeing that that's what we were doing. And then a little black girl got on the bus and she wanted to sit on my seat. And um, I didn't want her to because I was playing this game with this other little girl. And also, I probably wanted to stay, I wanted to stay in connection with that other little girl. Anyway, I scratched her on the face. Ugh, I scratched her and like made her bleed. Okay, this is not a new story. This is not a new memory. But it's always been weird, it's always been like, why did I do that? Like, what was going on there? Anyway, the next part of the story is that I got deeper than that and remembered that my dad had made some derogatory remark at the apartment complex about somebody, little kids of color. I think I had like my best friend was a little black girl. I think he made some fucking comment about that. And like, I, in my little spongy innocence, took that on. And that contributed to what happened on the school bus that day. Okay, so that's like, probably happens a lot. That type of thing probably happens a lot for people and certainly contributes to all sorts of like unconscious, subconscious, subtextual racial tension, right? That just is like running in and through our culture. But here's the fucking kicker. So all of that is like rich and interesting and ripe for healing. Yes. But when the school bus driver told my parents what happened, they punished me. And my mom was like not really a punisher, but my dad was. And he like punished me for acting out the thing that he had planted in me. So, wrapped around that experience were these wounds of love, denial, betrayal, judgment, persecution, and ultimately abandonment. Whew. So, that was a big one to uncover, right? These wounds of love affect the heart's ability to open. So, I can see how that program is something that my heart opening could bump up against in the realms of loving men and loving people with a different skin color than mine. Anyhow, having kind of revealed all of that material then it felt available to remove the chip, the program. So I did. So I took it out. I did a psychic surgical extraction on myself and removed it. And another lesson from the foot surgery is like once you've removed the thing causing the pain, you got to pack it with a healing salve and then bandage it and leave it be and let it heal, right? So I did that. Like I had some literal salve, and also I put like a golden balm. I packed like a golden balm into the extraction site. I ended up rubbing some salve on my belly in that place. And then finally, I went outside to offer my purge to the earth and feel my feet on the ground and offer Ho'oponopono to the fucking wounds of love. The wounds of love. Yeah. And offer gratitude to these mountains, my mountains. Yeah. So this is what it looks like to dismantle dominator culture from the inside out and remove obstacles to opening the heart and integrate the cultural medicine of our times. Yeah. It's deep work. It's worthy. I feel better. I feel better. Yeah. Yeah. So, if this type of thing is interesting to you, I encourage you to check out the free Technologies of Consciousness class that I offer. I'll link that in the description along with Virginia Rosenberg's website and Akara Sophia's website. They are really luminaries, and I'm grateful to be connected with them. And I'm grateful to be connected with you. Thank you for your time, energy, and attention. Thank you for watching. And I'll see you next time. Blessings on your way.